Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be giving you an update for Winter Storm Orlena, which is currently back through the Rockies, but it's going to be making its way into the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. We're going to have your snowfall forecast from now through Sunday, not going through the entire event, so we're only going to be covering what's going to happen for the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley in my snowfall forecast for today. Most likely by tomorrow we'll have your full snowfall forecast, just because it is a little bit too early to be releasing full snowfall forecast for stuff 3 to 4 days out. So we're going to be going over a bunch of different parameters and looking at a bunch of different maps and kind of discussing what could happen with the system and timing it out for you guys and giving you my thoughts on what I think will happen with this event. So here's what the current National Weather Service page looks like, and just to start it off, your national high temperature yesterday was 78 degrees at Hollywood, Florida, and your national low temperature was 25 miles east of Ely, Minnesota at negative 23 degrees Fahrenheit there. So definitely we had a wide range of temperatures, and especially over the northern plains it was exceptionally cold yesterday, and right now that very cold air has shifted over to the northeast, and those areas are getting into the very cold weather. We have winter weather advisories scattered throughout the Rockies, winter storm warnings in the pink area there. We have some high wind watches in effect for parts of Texas and New Mexico, as well as some wind advisories in the lighter brown. We also have some more flood watches back through southwestern California, and then we have some winter storm watches through the lower Great Lakes, so from eastern Iowa all the way to northwestern Ohio, and then we have some wind chill advisories scattered throughout parts of upstate New York, northwestern Connecticut, western Massachusetts, and into eastern and southern Vermont there, where you are dealing with those excessively cold temperatures and wind chills, mainly because of those very strong winds today. So here's what the GFS model is showing, and then we're going to look at the European model. They have two fairly different outlooks on what could happen. The European model is a little bit further to the south. I think that one will likely push back up to the north. All the other models, including the UK Met, which yesterday was the only one that was suppressing this to the south, have now come back to the north and back to showing the heaviest snow over the coastal northeast and the mid-Atlantic. So let's time this out for you guys. We have that low pressure back through into Kansas and Oklahoma by this point. We have that trough into the eastern United States. We have a high pressure in place, so that's allowing some of that cold air to filter down to the south, and it's just going to be a matter of how cold is that cold air. If it's too cold, it's going to be kind of pushed out to the south. You're not going to get a lot of snow over these regions, but the areas in the mid-Atlantic will actually get a lot of snow. If this does what we think is going to do, and it's going to kind of move up the coast like this, then we will most likely see a lot more snow for the areas along the coast than you would have seen if this just moves out to the south. And it looks like we're going to take the second option, the one that kind of moves up the coast. That seems to be a little bit more of a likely scenario as of right now. We're seeing a little piece of northern energy combined with that southern system, and that's going to move out further to the east, bring in a little bit of snow to the lower Great Lakes, and then move into the northeast, and that's when the real questions start popping up. So here to be by Saturday night. Here's by Sunday morning. We're dealing with snow back through the same areas that saw snow before, through parts of northern Iowa into Wisconsin, northern Illinois, northern and northeastern Indiana, as well as much of Ohio, and even getting back through Virginia and North Carolina, looking at some snow, and mainly heavy snow as you get into the lower Great Lakes. It does lighten up as you get further away from the storm. We are dealing with a cold front behind the system, so temperatures will rapidly decrease into Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma as the system passes by. And then we're going to play this forward a little bit, and you'll see that through the day on Sunday we're dealing with an onset of snow for parts of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware that might switch over to snow depending on the track of the system. Also, if you live over parts of southern Ohio, West Virginia, or in southwestern Pennsylvania, you might have to watch out for a little bit more rain and mixing than what's being shown on some of these models. This low pressure is going to track right through there, and that's going to die out, but you're still going to see some warmer air being pushed up slightly further to the north because of that, so you might have to deal with a little bit more rain than what some of these models are actually showing. And then we start to see our second low pressure start to develop, and that's going to be down here through the Carolinas, and that's going to start to move offshore. We see snow moving through the mid-Atlantic and lighter snow back through the Great Lakes, and then we play this forward a little bit more, and you see that by Sunday night into Monday morning, this is when the Northeast starts to get into more of that snow. So you see that low pressure over Ohio. We see the primary low pressure by this point, that kind of transferred its energy offshore, and now it's going to become our main system offshore of North Carolina, and that's going to of course move up further to the north and to the east. We're dealing with snow for a lot of these areas, and really the biggest question is there's really two questions: how far south does the system move, and then depending on how far south it moves or how far north it moves, that's going to depend where that rain snow line sets up. So the GFS has it right around here. Other models have it maybe further to the north. Other models have the shield of precipitation only staying as far north as about central New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania. So there are a lot of questions there on how far north does that snow even get, how far north does the rain snow line get, depending on how far north the storm is. So there are still so many questions, so many questions that you can't really be putting out a snowfall forecast just yet for that area. I think probably by tomorrow, when I am going to make my snowfall forecast for the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, we'll have a lot better of an idea of where that rain snow line will set up. We're at least a general idea, and we'll also have a much better idea of the track of this system. You see that low pressure that's offshore really take over. You see a very thin area of rain and snow kind of contrasting each other. And again, if you're on the northern end of that, you're going to see a lot more snow than if you're just south of there. So a few miles couldn't really make a big difference in this type of event. You see that low pressure kind of split off into another one right here. We have a third low pressure right here. We have the main primary one still back here. Snow for the coastal Northeast and Mid-Atlantic by this point. And then we continue to see that low pressure wrap up, and then it moves out further out to sea, and it's starting to really impact areas of eastern New England with some light snow showers, but it's pretty much breaking up by Wednesday. Here's what the European model is showing, and although your system is all the way back here, it's actually going to be affected by a system that's all the way out here. This is going to be moving to the north, and you can actually see there's a third system back here. This is going to be kind of stopped right here. It's not really going to be able to move, so this one's just going to move to the north and stall out right over here, which means that this one, according to the European model, is going to move here and then not be able to move north. So it's just going to stall out over these areas and dump a lot more snow, according to the European model. And the European model is the only one today that's been actually tracking further south than the other models. And I'm pretty sure this is probably going to move further north with the newest run of the European model. So I really wouldn't take too much attention to this, but just want to give you another opinion on what could happen. So we see that system out through Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma area, and then that's going to move further to the east. You see that heavy snow over northern Illinois, northern Indiana, and back even through Iowa by that point. And now we're dealing with snow on the onset for the Mid-Atlantic still. The European model is definitely showing a lot more snow for the Ohio Valley than what the GFS is showing, and we'll show you those snow maps in just a little bit. We see that low pressure transfers energy. This would be by Sunday afternoon and evening. So we have our first one back through Kentucky. Your second one develops, and then that's going to be the one that moves out further to the north and to the east. We see that move up the coast, and it's just far enough offshore that only the coastal areas of the Northeast get involved. So if you're anywhere basically north of I-95 in the Northeast, you're not seeing any snow according to this model run. You see that system continues to push further to the north, and any snow you do see north of that area would be very, very light according to the European model. So you see that is just a few miles further offshore than what the GFS was showing, but it has a drastic impact on the final event. And then you see that move up the coast, and now parts of eastern New England are now the real bullseye, because we see that storm system that was all the way out here really making it hard for this one to move anywhere except for into this area, and then it's going to kind of have to stall out here. So you're going to see that this would be by Wednesday morning, and then here's through Wednesday night and even into Thursday morning, and it's only getting out of here by Thursday morning. That's opposed to what the GFS was showing, where it's getting out of here by Wednesday morning. So there are definitely some different things that are being shown in the models, and definitely a couple things that we still have to figure out here. So Here's your snowfall totals from the European model, and I wouldn't really look at these for the numbers just yet because we really need to look at really the area that it's showing. That's pretty much what I use this for. It's a good way to kind of see a summary of the storm and where it was hardest hit. So the European model was showing the heaviest snows further to the south, and it was also showing those heavier snows back through the Great Lakes, and then lighter snows as you get back through the blues. Here would be what the GFS was showing, and you can see it's noticeably further to the north and to the west. You see less snow for the lower Great Lakes, but it's still a decent amount, 4 to 6 inches according to this model. And then you're looking at over the mid-Atlantic, especially the interior mid-Atlantic, looking at more of those heavier amounts of snowfall. And then it really tails off as you get into New England, where you're not dealing with a lot of snow according to the GFS model. Here's what the Icon model is showing, most likely very overblown. This is most likely not what's going to happen in terms of snowfall totals, but you can see at least the general track that the Icon model is showing, and it's showing that most of that coastal corridor and back through the interior or the interior parts of the mid-Atlantic are dealing with the heaviest snowfall, and it's also showing some heavier amounts back through the Great Lakes. Here would be what the UK Met model was showing, which if you remember yesterday was actually doing what the European model was doing, and actually it was even further south than that, so it showed a lot of snow for the mid-Atlantic, and then it curved back up through New England, but it kind of left a hole of snow right here. It's doing pretty much the opposite today, and it's actually bringing a lot more snow for those areas. And then here would be what the Canadian model is showing, a lot more snow, especially for the coastal areas of the mid-Atlantic, and it even curves it back through New England there. And again, some of these amounts are most likely overblown. 25 inches is definitely not likely. I don't even think there will be over 15 inches in many areas. It'll most likely be more of a closer to a foot of snowfall in the heaviest amounts and the heaviest areas that get the most snow. Now, here's something very, very important. It's the track of the storm. So we're looking at the Weather Prediction Center's Day 3 surface analysis outlook. So this is their forecast. They're expecting a low pressure back through West Virginia, and then another low pressure that's going to move through an offshore of Virginia and North Carolina. So watch out for the track of this. So this would be your day 1. I'm just going to circle it right here. Here's your day 2, or here's your day 4. So going another day in the future. So here would be by Tuesday, and we're expecting it to be right around here. And then here would be by your day 5, which would be by Wednesday. We're looking at this most likely being right here. So if you would outline that right here, it would be somewhat of a track like this, and that passes pretty much just south of the 40-70 benchmark, which is right here, and that's usually the area that if a storm passes over it or near that area, that's usually where you get the biggest snows, especially for the coastal Northeast. You can see they're taking more of a southern approach to what's happening, but definitely there is a lot of fluctuation, and I think it could track anywhere between this area right here, and that's what we really have to figure out. Is it going to be on the northern end of that spectrum or the southern end of that spectrum right there? Also, here are your expected snowfall totals from the Weather Prediction Center over the next 72 hours, and you can see anywhere in those greens, that's 1 to 6 inches of snowfall. Of course, the lighter greens, the less snowfall; the darker greens, the more snowfall, and then even into that dark blue shade, that's 6 to 8 inches according to the Weather Prediction Center. This goes through Monday morning, and then here to be from Monday morning to Tuesday, your chances of seeing 2 to 3 inches of snowfall or more, and usually they don't put out these 50 to 70% chance areas, but they do actually have one through southeastern Pennsylvania and northern New Jersey with a wider swath of 30 to 50% chance through parts of southern New England and back through the coastal mid-Atlantic and northeast. Here's what the day 5 outlook looks like from Tuesday to Wednesday. They're looking at a 50 to 70% chance, and even 70 to 90% chance, and even a little dot of 90 plus percent chance of seeing 2 to 3 inches through eastern Maine and back through into southeastern Canada. And we even have a day 6 probability from Wednesday to Thursday of maybe 10 to 30% chance over extreme eastern Maine and back through into southeastern Canada there. So here's my snowfall forecast for this event. And this is only going from Saturday through Sunday. This is not the full duration of this event. This is only going from Saturday morning to Sunday night. So my full forecast will be coming out in tomorrow's video. That's when we'll have a lot more details into what's going to actually be occurring. But I wanted to fill in those people who live in the Great Lakes, who live in the Ohio Valley, because they will also be getting quite a bit of snowfall. And I want to update you guys on what you guys could be expecting. So under an inch of snowfall in all of these areas. And here's your 1 to 3 inch area. and this is when you start to get some decent accumulations, and that includes parts of the mid-Atlantic back through the Ohio Valley into the lower Great Lakes, and then back through Iowa and Minnesota. Here's that 3 to 6 inch area. You see two different areas, one through western Virginia and eastern West Virginia, and then we see another one for much of Ohio, northern Indiana, southern Michigan, northern Illinois, eastern and northeastern parts of Iowa, and then southern Wisconsin, even a little bit of Minnesota there. And then here's that 6 to 12 inch area, most likely 6 to 8 inches of snowfall, although a couple pockets of maybe 10 inches of snow, most likely closer to Chicago because of some lake effect, could occur. And that's mainly the band that I'm expecting the heaviest snowfall, northwestern Indiana and southwestern Michigan to about east central Iowa. There is pretty much the bullseye of this event from Saturday through Sunday. So the storm is definitely not done if you live throughout anywhere of this region right here, from basically the mid-Atlantic northeast, where the storm has not even been complete yet. So this is not my full forecast. My full forecast, again, is coming out tomorrow, just because we'll have way more details. It's a little bit too early for me to be throwing around numbers for the northeast just yet. There's too much uncertainty at this point. So this would be my forecast only for the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley, and even parts of the mid-Atlantic through Saturday, from Saturday through Sunday. And again, even parts of the mid-Atlantic that have numbers on the screen right now, that's only through Sunday. This is still going to be ongoing from Monday through Tuesday, even through Wednesday in some areas where you could see some lingering snow showers. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.